The Blackburn Rovers Academy are up and running with their first point in the Premier League 2. This weekend we'll see the return of the ladies. That's right, we're going to cover all that and more in today's Rovers Roundup. Rovers Roundup video today. We take a look back at how the Rovers Academy go on and look forward to what's around the corner for both the Academy and the ladies, of course. We'll even check in on a couple of loanees who, of course, have made their move for the summer thus far. We'll get to it in a second. Of course, if you're new where you've been, smash your subscribe button back to all things Rovers related, women's football related, anything Blackburn Rovers related. We got it all here, boys, under one rooski. That's right. Big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons. But of course, let's get cracking and have a look at what we're talking about. Of course, we are talking about this. That's right. It is, of course, a West Bromwich Albion against Blackburn Rovers. That was last week. And what a thriller it was. Rovers coming out on top. Well, not on top, but of course, get a share of the spoils. 3-3, of course, over at the Midlands there. Of course, let's take a look at the goals, the drama, a little bit of a breakdown. Mufafa gave West Brom the lead, of course, early doors on the 13th minute before Rovers got themselves back into it and then eventually take the lead. Grady Macken, first and foremost, then Bloxham adding his first of the season as Rovers took a 2-1 lead heading towards the end of the first half. However, a trialist, I don't know who it is, managed to pull it back on level pegging on the 43rd minute. Both sides went into the break at half-time, level. 2-2. Before West Brom took the lead with Love, scored on the 71st minute to give themselves a cheeky lead before Rovers pulled it all back. Wood on the score sheet on the 87th minute. That's, of course, a share of the spoils right here, right now. Take a look at the possession then. It looks like it was a fine game right down the middle there, pretty much. West Brom 52% compared to Rovers 48%. And as you can see, Rovers had more shots, 15 to the 14 of the hosts. Corners as well, we dominated, and again we lacked in the free kick department, of course, so not too shabby for Rovers. A point on the board. We're up and running, considering West Brom are a little bit of a tidy size. Take a little look then, at the teams, of course, starting with the host, Can, between the sticks. There's that try list. We had Hall, Williams, Phillips, Harper Bailey, Hurd, Whitehall, Mufafa, Tullich and Malcolm. That's, of course, West Brom's side. As the Rovers had Hilton, Gent, Haddo, Davies, Atchinson, Weston, Montgomery, Edmondson, Walker, Bloxham, and, of course, Grady Macken, who got himself among the score sheets. Looked like we were rocking a 4-2-3-1. As for West Brom, a 4-3-3. We did see some subs coming on as well. Love came on for that trialist. Higgins came on for Touch. Richards for Mufafa and Nelson for McCallum. Hollingshead not used. As for Rovers, Donny for Walker there. Wood for Bloxham. Duru for Atchison and Olsen for Haddo, as of course a lot of players got some numbers as well. Hood from the bench. Let's get into, of course, a recap of what else went on in the old Premier League 2. Some of the standout results, also goals flying in as Arsenal turned over Leicester 4-1. Of course, we played Chelsea last week. They, of course, lost to Brighton 3-2 at home. Another thriller or a lot of goal fest. It was at Southampton, 4-2 win over Aston Villa, with Spurs picking up a 4-1 win over Newcastle. That's a selection of the old picks there. And of course, the table looks like this. We are up and running with our first point, sitting in 22nd spot over the likes of over the likes of Wolves, Man United, Man City, and Aston Villa. As for the tip of the top of the table, it is Arsenal, Leeds, Reading. We've got Fulham up there, and Tottenham leading the charge with 6 points out of 6. But it could all change as we look forward to the next games with Rovers hosting Leicester City. That's coming at you on Sunday, August the 27th. The same day Rovers are in action, the same time, pretty much the same time as Rovers senior squad, who take on Watford down at Vicarage Road. As for the opponents of West Brom, they're taking on Sunderland, of course. So let's preview that game as we look forward to Leicester, of course, visiting Blackburn for this coming weekend. That's right. So let's take a look at Rovers. If you don't know, their academy, let's have a little look at it and break them down. The coach, Mike Sheeran, is the governor these days. Been at the post since 2021. 1.34 points per match is record against Leicester. He's managed against them 4 times, winning once, losing twice, and picking up a draw. So that's a 1 point per match ratio. His record against against Ben Petty is a little bit better, 1.5 points per match with a win and a loss to his record. Sam Barnes, the loyal player, 27 kids on the books there for Rovers with an average age of 20.3, 8 foreigners in their ranks as well. And have a look at them right here, right now. Of course, Joe Hilton, the man between the sticks, of course, East Ham knocking on the door as well. Into the defensive ranks, we've got Sereno, Haddo, Batty, Barnes, amongst others. Then, of course, into midfield with like some Gillisan, Bloxham, who's looking very, very good so far. Ethan Walker, Ben Farles, and a couple other fellas up top. So those, of course, are the Rovers team members right there. Of course, this is what's happened thus far. The 6-1 demolition by Chelsea. Of course, West Brom picking up the point there, of course. And then now it is Leicester. After that, we're going to take on Spurs on the road, Villa, Man United at home, Reading on the road, and then Stoke as well. We currently find ourselves in 22nd in the table. What about our visitors? Leicester City then, of course, with Ben Betty as coach. Been in the role since 2022, around about a year or so now. 0.76 points per match. His record against Rovers is pretty good, 1.5 points per match. And against his record against Mike Sheeran is exactly the same. The most loyal player, Jacob Stolicic, he is 22. He is a goalkeeper. He's knocking on 2 meters tall. They have 30 players on the books. 19.5 is the average age. Just one national team player, 9 foreigners in the ranks as well. Let's take a look at these players then. Of course, there was that goalkeeper with Arrow Doherty trying to get in the spot as well alongside Brad Young. Also joining them in the back there, we've got Istian Hughes, Benjamin Nelson, a couple of other ones as well. Into the midfield ranks, Ben Grist, Oliver Ewing, Zach Booth, Jack Lewis, couple of other ones in there, Sammy Baybrook, Casey McAteer up top. We've got the likes of Dimitri Hall, Armani Richards, and a couple of other ones as well. Who will do the damage? We'll have to see, of course, when the game comes around. Let's take a look at their record. Of course, they opened up with a 2-1 win over Derby, then of course followed that up with a 4-1 defeat to Arsenal. So 1-1, a lost one thus far. Of course, after this game, they take on Norwich and then Borough back-to-back home games before they hit the road with Fulham and Chelsea, and then of course bring it back with Newcastle in the month of November, of course. As for the table, they currently find themselves in 16th points. Like I said, 3 points on the books so far. Their record or their form is represented in here. They're down the bottom graphic there. Just 1 defeat past 4 if you want to look at it. As for Rovers, we're a little bit all over the place, winning 2 out of the last 5, of course, and we'll see if we can oust them coming at you this weekend. The recent record then, shall we? If we turn the clock back just to last year, we did lose 4-0 at Ewood, or should I say at Blackburn. A bit of a stonking, bit of a tonking there, but we did pick up the win at their gaff in March as well. So the last time we won against Leicester in the league was 2020. It was a 4-0 demolition job as well. So hopefully we can get some cheeky victory over them. There's a big 7-1 in there as well. 620 fans saw the game at Leicester in August 19th. That's quite a high number there. Of course, this game is a good chance for Rovers to get their first win on the belt, and I think they'll do just about that. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, despite the recent form there against them last time around. I think they'll bounce back and, of course, get the first win, get 3 points, and start to climb up the table. I'm not expecting crazy things from Rovers Academy this season. I think if they can just better what their performance last season, I think they'll do a-okay. So 2-0 for me on this one. So 2-0 for me on this one. All right then, folks, let's take a little look at our loanees. Of course, still just a couple of loanees out there. Felix Goddard, of course, on the books at Marine. Since I last spoke to you, of course, not been great for both Felix Goddard and Marine. They lost to Whitby Town on the 19th of August, 3-1 there. Not good indeed. Then they followed up with another defeat against Hyde, 2-1 loss there. Felix Goddard involved in both games there. On the horizon, though, they'll be taking on Matlock Town. That's coming at you on Saturday, August 26th. And of course, by the time we get back to talk about Marine once again, they would have played Bashford United on Monday, August 28th. So I'll give you an update of when we come back. Preview in the FA Cup first qualifying round. That's, of course, a Saturday, September the 2nd, boys and girls. I look forward to seeing how he gets on there. Meanwhile, Jared Horlock's also not been in action with the New Saints. Currently taking his loan over in the top flight in Wales. He wasn't mentioned on the bench, but he never got on. But the New Saints did come out with a 1-0 win over Pontypridd United. That's right. So again, so far so good for the New Saints. 6-2 win over Connacht Quay and the Pontypridd Town. Again, a couple of games before we catch up with them, they'll be taking on Barry at home, and then Colwyn Bay on August the 29th. That's right. So besides all that, of course, I'll bring you back up to date before the Aberystwyth match as well. Let's kick on forward then and take a little look at the ladies. That's right. Of course, they are coming into action this coming weekend, taking on Birmingham City. Of course, they are a pretty decent ladies team. Of course, Rovers, had not the greatest season last season. I think we can elaborate on their performance right here. Of course, last season, Rovers finished in 10th spot, a little bit clear of the likes of Coventry and Sunderland, with Birmingham finishing in second with a winning streak of 5 on the spin. We'll have a look at that in a little bit more detail as well. Again, Rovers season went off the boil a little bit, so I'm hoping we can get. I don't know, and again, I don't know if this is the 100% record. This is the first real attempt of having a bit of a dive into the women's football in regards to Rovers. We did do it a little bit last year with Millie, but this is what I've got for the ladies at the moment. So I may or may not be right, but of course we are looking forward to the game as well. Of course, let's take a look at the team then. Elena Heaps between the sticks alongside Andrew Brooks competing for the number 1 jersey. And again, I'm not going to come out here as a know-it-all. I don't know it all. In fact, I'm going to become more knowledgeable about the women's team as and when we get into it. So I don't know who's going to be the number 1 lady between the sticks, but we'll find out, of course, this coming weekend. Melly Chandarara, she's, of course, at the back there alongside Jay Richards, Chloe Dixon, and amongst other lovely ladies as well. Into the midfield, we got Illy League, we got Emma Doyle, Mia Perry, Meg Boydell, Amy Hodgson, amongst others as well. Up top, we got Megan Hornby, Annabelle Blanchard, Lauren Thomas as well. We'll see if they can compete up against Birmingham City this coming Saturday, and then the next match will be up against Southampton on the road before a very busy September continues. Luna's getting excited. What about Birmingham's ladies then? Of course, like I said, last season finished very, very good in second spot, 5 wins on the bounce. And as you can see, their season rolled all the way through to March as well. Quarterfinals of the Cup. They've also played the Liverpool team already. I think it must have been a pre-season, I'm imagining. But they are looking forward to taking on Blackburn Rovers ladies this coming weekend as well. Take a look at their team. They got Frances Stenson. They got quite a few goalkeepers on the books. Lucy Thomas, Lucy Jones. I don't know who's going to be number 1, but I've got 6 goalkeepers all vying for that jersey. Maybe this shows the size of depth that this ladies team has. Harriet Scott in the defensive ranks. Tara Bourne, Taylor Reynolds, Arabelle Suti as well, amongst others. Into midfield is definitely a difference in size of depth here, as you can see by Birmingham City's extensive squad. You've got Abby Jones, Charlie Devlin, Abby Jenner, Molly Green, you name them, they're in it. And Lucy Whip up top, Ashley Hodgson, Emily Murphy, Jay Pennick, amongst others, of course. We'll see who starts for Birmingham and Rovers this coming weekend. As for Birmingham, of course, after this game, they'll take on Crystal Palace before they take on Lewes, and then kick on forward to a very, very busy September and October for them. But a quick look at what I'm looking at here. What is this? This is, of course, what else is going on this weekend in the Ladies' Championship. Of course, Rovers against Birmingham City is the highlight. And then, of course, we've got games all the way through August the 27th. But of course, it is a squeaky clean division right now. Everybody's doing fantastic, especially Rovers, who are sitting in second. But that's pretty much alphabeticalized. So we'll see how they get on. Anyway, if I'm going to go for a pick, I've got to back the ladies on this one. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win over Birmingham City, even though they were absolutely fantastic last season, and they're probably one of the bigger teams who will go very, very far this time around. But that, my friends, is all I've got for you for this Rovers Roundup. Of course, we're going to try and bring you these on a weekly basis, and hopefully we'll see some first team players, or at least fringe players, get those loan moves, so we can provide you with EFL updates around the place for those respective players as well. But until then, guys, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell. Of course, I'll catch you later when we come back again. But until then, we are done.